Hi, Misfits. This is Kevin.
And this is Kate.
Welcome to Horrorwood.
We're back.
We're here. It's fall.
Not officially,
but
it's
it
September,
feels
so
like
that
it.
means that, yes, it is.
The temperature went down, a cold front blew in, and now we're all gonna get a pumpkin spice.
If you like those.
If you like
I'll
those
go with a
things.
chai or my
Any day.
my usual, my canned mochas.
Lacalo mocha lattes.
I really wish they'd sponsor us.
That would be amazing. Could you imagine how many cans we would...
Bitch, I reached out to them. Don't think I didn't.
Yes.
I was like, I literally survive on your canned mochas to make this podcast. Would you have any interest in sponsoring us? And they were like, let me take it to the team. And then I did not hear back.
Well, team, if you're out there...
You should sponsor us because look at all this free advertising you're getting right now.
Listen, we could talk about Lacalo mocha lattes, which we've said 4 times now.
Lacalo mocha lattes.
We just say it 5 times each per each episode. I would do it. Let's do it.
Yeah, I would. I'm addicted. That's what it is.
That's okay. Well, and I just got addicted to Witch's Brew, which is a Lonnie energy drink. And I saw it on TikTok and I was like, must find.
So Kevin texts me and he asked if I'd ever had it. And I hadn't heard of it. So I looked it up and I was like, oh, damn, that packaging is cute.
It's nice.
And it's caramel. Tell me
caramel apple.
Caramel apple and caramel apple.
Yeah.
And I was like, ooh, do I want to try this? No. I looked up the nutrition info.
It's not good.
It is 200 milligrams of caffeine. And a lot of artificial sweeteners.
Yeah. Sugar, alcohol. I think that's the stuff that makes you have diarrhea.
Well, damn, I don't need that.
Well, I'm okay.
I already had my
gut
vomiting sessions earlier this week, as we've discussed. I'm fine, but
Annabelle has taken us over control. I brought her up. I made a mistake.
we did an update. And we have another update, actually.
Yeah.
One of our Patronians messaged us because the autopsy results came in for Dan Rivera.
For Dan Rivera. And he did have a cardiac event.
Yeah.
So, unfortunately, that sucks.
Awful.
Awful.
But we know.
But now we know and remember him in a good light. So, speaking of Patreon.
Ooh.
Wait, did we talk about Patreon in a second?
Well, we said our Patronian messages.
Our
so
Patronian.
Yeah.
So speaking of Patreon.
Look at you with a segue.
We have a few new people we need to shout out.
Yes. So if you saw our Instagram story, you know why we didn't have a new episode come out last week because it was Labor Day and we took the day off.
We took a day off.
We needed it.
Yeah.
So some of the people didn't get their shout outs yet. So we do have a few.
We have a few.
To do. Start us off.
I'll start with Violet G.
Violet G.
Violet is amazing. Her mom sent us this fabulous video of her joining the Patreon that it made your day, Kate. It made mine too.
Oh my God. I
kept
watched
watching
that
it.
video so many times.
I was like, we love you too, Violet G.
Amazing. So thank you so much for signing up. This is your shout out.
Shouts.
Violet. All right, next up is Emily Zimmerman.
Hey, Emily,
thank you so much. And let's just say all of these people that we're going to announce are Misfit Murderinas. So they're all getting the
You're
fall
all
gift
getting
package
the gift packages.
because they all signed up by the deadline.
Oh, good for you guys.
Woo, woo.
Welcome in.
So thank you, Emily.
And then we have David Patterson.
David.
Hey, David.
Thank you so much. Because we didn't do them last week, this is the longest list we've ever had of Patronians.
It is.
Don't worry, guys. We're already halfway through the list. But it's like so exciting to me.
I love it.
I was just like, every time when we get the little notification, I'm like, oh my gosh, someone
likes us.
Yeah, exactly. So thank you, David.
Thank you, David.
Next up is Stephanie Baker. Stephanie, thank you so much. We really appreciate it. I feel like I've seen Stephanie on our Instagram.
Oh, cool.
Perhaps.
Okay.
So thank you. We truly, truly could not do this without all of our Patronians. And next up is
Bobby Robertson.
Bobby Robertson or Roberson?
Roberson. Oh no.
Unclear, but it's definitely Bobby.
Yes.
And Bobby follows us on Facebook and is always sending us like amazing like episode suggestions or has, comments about certain episodes, which we absolutely love that. So thank you, Bobby.
We're interactable with.
We sure are.
You can chat to us on social medias.
We'll messageth you backeth.
Yes.
From our own hands. Last but definitely not least, Stinky Boots.
Stinky Boots.
Stinky Boots. Thank you so much. I think her name might be Haley. We appreciate you so much, whether your boots are stinky or fresh as daisies. We love it all. So thank you for joining as a Misfit Murderino, all of you.
Yes, thank you.
And we very soon are going to be assembling those packages that you're all going to get.
They're coming.
So thank you from the bottom of our hearts.
Yeah, honestly, thank you. Seriously.
Because truly, 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 we literally could not do the show.
Not at all.
So it means everything to us.
Kate and I would just be sitting here playing patty cake with each other and crying.
What a dismal thought.
That's where my mind went.
He's tearing up already. Any other biz nasty?
I don't think so.
Hope everyone had a great week. I feel
Labor
like
Day.
we haven't
How's your car?
any of you. Oh my God. So I was in a hit and run, you guys. Not serious. Everyone's fine.
Annabelle.
Man, yeah, we really should not have done an update. I was dropping Frankie off at her daycare, her doggy daycare. It's just street parking outside. So I was parked up on the side of the road, engine off, flashers on. I'm holding Frankie because we're about to get out of the car. And I see a car come up in my my driver's side mirror. And I was like, okay, hold on. We got to wait for this car. Because I talked to her like she's my human child. And then all of a sudden, it was like, boom. And it hit so hard on the side that for a second, I was like, wait, did we just get hit? The car just kept going. And I rolled my window down and I'm waving my arm. And I'm like, hey, you just hit me. And I'm screaming. The guy doesn't stop. He goes up to the light. And it was a red light. So I sat there for a second and I was like, do I just suck it up, take Frankie inside, say, oh, well, or do I chase this guy down?
Yeah.
By this point now, all these other cars have gone up and are like in line at that light. So I don't even see the car anymore. And I was like, no, I'm going to try. So I put Frankie back in her car seat and I'm like, we're going, babe. We're going.
We're going to get it.
So I get in the line at the light and then I thought he turned left because I could see cars going around a car as though like that first car was waiting to turn left. And I was like, all right, well, maybe he's turning. So I get up to the intersection and I look to the left and I don't see that car and I can't see him anywhere. And I'm like, well, I guess that's that. And so we just went straight through and I was just going to turn around and come back to the daycare. But then this big van in front of me turned down a street and lo and behold, who was in front of him? Well, it's that car.
The car.
And I was like, Frankie, I think that's that bitch.
Yep.
I was like, let's just see where he goes. So we follow him. He turns, I turn. He gets to a light, turns on his left signal. I turn on my left signal. He turns left. I turn left. He turns into the grocery store parking lot. And I was like, hey, babe, we're getting some groceries. We turn into the parking lot. He parks in the lot. Luckily, there was a spot directly across from him. And I waited because I'm like, well, let me just assess the situation because, you don't know what you're going to encounter.
You never know.
Then this very elderly man gets out of the car. And I was like, fuck.
Yeah.
So then I was like, do I even, I don't want to ruin this guy's day. But then he went around to the passenger side of his car and checked it out. And I was like, oh, so you're concerned about your car.
He knew what he did.
You're about to be concerned about my car.
Yeah.
And I get out. I'm like, hang on, Frankie. And I roll all the windows down and she's staring like, what's happening? The guy's going into the store. So I had to kind of run to catch up to him. And I was like, excuse me, sir. He doesn't respond. And I run up beside him and I said, sir. And he looks at me and you guys, he was like the sweetest old looking man. I was like, fuck. And I said, did you just hit a car on, and then I gave the street name, and his face fell. And he said, yes, I did. I said, well, that was me that you hit. I said, and you knocked my mirror down, and I can't see out of it now, and I'm going to need your information. And he said, of course. So we walked back to his car, and he was the nicest guy.
Sure.
Aside from the whole hit and run, he tried to get away with the thing.
Yeah.
But, you know, he gives me his license, his insurance, everything, his name, his phone number. And he was very apologetic. And I said, listen, I just want to make sure that, like, my stuff's taken care of. He's like, well, let's go look at your car. I was like, great. So we walk across, and my mirror is, like, pointing down to the ground.
Yeah.
And so we're trying to, like, pop it back in, and it's not going. And I said, look, if I'm able to get this, I said, I'll keep working on it. If I can get it, I'm not going to worry about this. He's like, well, just keep me posted, you know, let me know. And it took, honestly, a couple of days of me working on the mirror to try to get it back. But I did finally
get it back. Oh, good.
And I was like, I'm not going to bother with this guy, because the light on the mirror still works miraculously.
Wow.
And I got it back into place.
Yeah.
And so I checked to make sure I could, like, still fold it in and do all
and
that.
out. Yeah.
So I was like, you know what? No one was hurt. I don't need to,
and
like...
he didn't, like, dent or leave marks anywhere else?
So there's this weird series of dents on the driver's side, but I don't know if those were already there. It was like one of those where I was like, I feel like maybe I've seen those before.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And you can't really pinpoint if it was him or not.
Yeah. So, and they're not anything major.
Right.
So I'm not going to worry about it. But yeah, I was so pissed because he knew he hit me.
Yeah.
I'm waving my arm out the window screaming, and he just kept driving.
Man. Well,
But
it's good you caught up to him.
all
I mean,
is
still,
well.
like...
All is well. Like, nobody was hurt. It could have gone so much more bad.
Yeah.
So it's fine.
Well, good. I'm glad it worked out.
Yeah. So that was my week. And then the vomiting. Because I drank too much coffee. And then
God.
but we did have a nice Labor Day. We had some people over.
Good.
And it was lovely. And yeah, it was just a nice time.
Fabulous.
Yeah.
I love it. Okay. Are you ready for a story?
I am so ready for a story.
Yeah. I'm going to adjust my microphone real quick. So this is about a cold case that happened in Provincetown, Massachusetts in 1974 and was recently solved in 2022. And what helped keep this case going in the media for a while?
Do tell.
The 1975 Steven Spielberg horror classic, Jaws.
And it's the 50th anniversary of Jaws.
Yeah, absolutely.
Crazy.
And let me tell you, honey, those sharks have been swimming. Sorry, I wrote that as a joke and it didn't sound good coming out.
Speaking of Jaws, the people that we had over the other day, one of them like does a lot of work at Universal in LA. And I used to be a tour guide there.
Yeah.
And so we were kind of talking about like what attractions are there right now. And I was like, I feel like they took Jaws away. He's like, oh, no. Jaws is still there.
Wow.
Because that's like the quintessential attraction on that tour.
Yeah.
And like, it's not as though it's where they filmed it at all.
No.
But there's a whole like Jaws, you know, the shark comes up and splashes. And,
Oh,
like,
the ride.
Yeah.
They have it
Anyway.
out there in LA too?
Well, it's on the tram tour.
Okay, cool.
So like you drive by, and it's actually where Murder, She Wrote was filmed. That's where it is. So
cool.
it's so like you briefly mentioned Murder, She Wrote, and then this shark comes
The Jaws thing comes in. My friend Brittany, who's on the Patreon.
Hey, Brittany.
She worked at Disney and Universal Studios in Florida, and she was a guide on the Jaws ride.
Oh, okay.
She has a picture of her like in the suit and everything.
Oh, fun.
I rode that ride when I went there, and it scared the fuck out of me.
Oh, I don't know if I ever rode that one.
I was a kid when I went, and the shark comes up out of the water right beside the boat, and I was on the edge, and I kept like getting up and pushing my parents over to the left, and they were laughing, and I was like, we're all gonna die. So yeah, I find it crazy that the completely wild tale of the victim being an extra in the movie would eventually help lead, and I say help because there's a bunch more around how and why this was solved, but lead to a posthumous murder charge.
Let's hear it.
Submitted for the approval of the Midnight Society. I call this tale The Lady of the Dunes.
That was very atmospheric.
Thank you. I'm really creating a soundscape, a vibe.
I like it.
Thank you. Curating a vibe.
Yeah, that's what we're trying to do here.
Exactly. The mystery of the Lady of the Dunes began on July 26th, 1974, a scorchingly warm day in Provincetown, Massachusetts. P-Town for the gays, if you're nasty. It's a big gay destination.
Gotcha.
Huge.
Big.
I have to go shopping.
Huge. Every time.
Every time. The town and beach were flush with tourists. Everyone was out to enjoy the fab weather. Too hot for me, if you ask. Beyond the bustle, in the sandy, windswept Race Point dunes nearby, a family was out walking their dog when they made a haunting discovery. The family's 12-year-old daughter, Leslie Metcalf, followed her barking dog into the scrub and noticed something strange. Scrub means the area where the beach meets the local terrain. Imagine like where the woods meet the sand.
Oh, I gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. I was like, what's a scrub?
I don't
want
scrub.
no scrubs. Keep me out of the scrub. So the little girl assumed what she had found was a dead animal.
Ooh.
A deer, to be specific.
Okay.
She thought she found a dead deer. She could tell it was something that used to be alive.
I never want to come across something that
I
used to be alive.
Well, because everybody's mind goes to mannequin.
Right.
You know what I mean? They're like, oh, I found this mannequin in a
I'm
field.
like, no, you didn't.
No, honey.
You found
it's
a
not
body.
a mannequin. But I could see how you just don't expect that.
Well,
so
yeah.
your mind's going to think it's not real.
Yeah.
But as the little girl got closer, she realized it was the nude body of a woman, badly decomposed from weeks in the summer heat.
Ugh.
It was clear immediately that something terrible had happened. The scene was particularly gruesome. The woman's head had been nearly severed. Her skull smashed in by what investigators later believed was a military-style entrenching tool. The fatal injury was a crushing blow to the left side of her skull. Both of her hands were gone.
I really don't like that.
I don't either. Along with one forearm. And several teeth were missing. Details that suggested her killer had deliberately tried to prevent anyone from identifying her through fingerprints or dental records. Her body was lying face down on half of a green beach towel, with her head propped on a folded pair of Wrangler jeans and a blue bandana.
It's when they fold the clothes.
Yeah.
That's like, ugh.
It's all neat and clean.
Yeah. There's a weird pathology about that.
It's strange, yeah. It looked as though someone had staged her to look like she'd been sunbathing. Face down, get that back tan. Her toenails were painted pink, and her auburn hair was pulled back into a ponytail with a gold-flecked elastic band. Retired Provincetown Police Chief Warren Tobias later said that she had, quote, definitely been posed there, pointing out how unnatural the arrangement looked for a murder scene.
Yeah.
I saw the murder scene photo, and it's hard to make out.
Yeah.
You can tell that it's legs, but everything kind of above that is, well, part of it's missing.
Right.
And it's not great. So despite the brutality of her injuries, there were no signs of a struggle in the sand.
Sorry.
Was that the neighborhood app?
No, that's actually one of our Patronians.
Hey, who is it?
Tiffany Caldwell.
Hey, Tiffany, girl, Caldwell. She pops in as we're recording an episode. I love it.
It was a comment on some episode.
Okay. Well, we're shouting everybody out today. Yeah, so there was no sign of a struggle.
Okay.
The area around her was fairly undisturbed, leading investigators to believe she either 1, knew her killer, 2, had been taken by surprise, or 3, was even asleep when the attack happened. 2 different sets of footprints led to the scene, and tire tracks were found about 50 yards away.
Okay.
But beyond that, police had very little to go on. And the footprints weren't super finite being in the sand rather than kind of a hard dirt.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's safe to assume that those footprints were the victim and her killer. Just being 2 sets together leading to the scene. The body was badly decomposed, and the investigators estimated she'd been out there for weeks. Like, they can't pinpoint exactly how long, but to reach the level of decomposition she was in, weeks.
I have a question, because you were saying that it didn't look like this was the crime scene. Like she had been taken there and posed, right?
No,
or did I
no.
miss
I
that?
think no. I think what happened is that I don't think she was murdered and then put there. I think she was murdered right there.
Oh, okay.
And she might have been with someone she knew because there were 2 sets of footprints.
Okay, because I was thinking, well, were there 2 people that were carrying her there? But okay,
No.
She was killed there.
She was definitely killed there.
Got it.
Yeah, and then positioned.
Got it.
In that way. Because it looked like that she didn't know that it was going to happen. There was no evidence of a struggle around where she was posed. Investigators examined the body carefully and determined she had been about 5 foot 6 inches tall, weighed roughly 145 pounds, and had an athletic build.
Okay.
They believed she was somewhere between 25 and 40 years old, though later examinations widened that range from 20 to 49.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they're like, let's look in, maybe it's a little bit older. They couldn't really pinpoint it.
All right.
What stood out was her teeth. She had the teeth that were still there. She had undergone very expensive dental work, estimated between $5,000 and $10,000, which that's pretty standard for today. So I can't imagine what nice dental work looks like.
Yeah. I mean, because at that time,
that's
much
a small
money
fortune.
At that time,
yeah,
like, that's a lot.
Exactly. I found an article that mentioned the victim had what they called at the time New York City dentistry. And I was like, what the hell does that mean?
Yeah.
But from what I can glean, it means that the dental work, that's just another way of saying that the dental work she had was expensive.
Oh, okay.
Because
New York City is expensive?
Yeah.
Okay.
People are like, oh, you had that done in New York? Like,
Got it.
That kind of thing.
Okay. It's kind of like Matt's friend Joe talks about a Hollywood shower. He's like, I'm going to take a Hollywood shower. It's just like, I think where you take a long shower, it's kind of like a luxuriate.
Oh, yeah. like Silkwood showers.
What's a Silkwood
So
shower?
Silkwood is a movie with, oh God, who's in it? I think Cher might be in it.
Okay.
And Sally Field.
I feel like I've heard of it.
And they work at that plant and they get stuff on them from the plant, and the Silkwood shower is like being hosed down really hard with hard water.
Oh.
So when you take a Silkwood shower, you're like,
I wish you guys could have seen the face.
you know what I
Kevin
mean?
just
Like those, I don't want to say tacky, but those moments where people are like in showers crying, and like, I would also call it a lifetime shower.
Oh, that makes sense. That tracks. Yeah.
Or Silkwood also to mean like hefty, like you're cleaning your shit.
Like you're getting hosed
You're
down.
getting hosed down, bitch.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where are they hosing them down? And Matt does that impression so good. I can't do it.
So even with those details, the case was confusing to local authorities. Detectives canvassed the area, reviewed thousands of missing person reports, and followed every lead they could find, but nothing matched specifically. So the case goes cold pretty much immediately. They had no one to question or any suspects from the get-go. I mean, they talked to the family who discovered it, but they were out with their dog. So she gets buried, this unidentified woman.
Really?
Yeah. And I'll talk about that in a second.
Okay.
But she also gets exhumed multiple times from that grave.
All right.
In 1980, 2000, 2003, and again in 2013. Why, you may ask?
Why?
Because of advancing science.
Sure.
In forensic DNA and all of that.
Sure.
So as new things come to light that we can use to identify people, they're going to these cold cases and pulling up the body to try to figure out if we can, let's try to figure this out.
Right.
So clay reconstructions of her face were made, age regression sketches were drawn, and in 2010, the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children even created 3D composite images from CT scans of her skull.
Oh, wow.
Thousands of missing person reports, again, were compared to those descriptions and also the faces that they were able to draw, and nothing stuck.
Wow.
Nothing stuck. So still, year after year, she remained a nameless Jane Doe. The brutality of the crime itself led to endless speculation. The fact that her hands and some teeth were missing suggested her killer, as previously mentioned, knew exactly what they were doing and was trying to buy time or ensure the victim remained anonymous. The positioning of the body on a towel with her head resting on folded clothes gave the impression of intimacy, or at least some kind of familiarity. A few investigators thought it indicated she might have trusted her killer. Others suggested it might have been meant to taunt the police or even disguise the murder as something other than a violent attack. If there's not a visible struggle, then what?
So if they did both walk there together, I mean, he could have, like, assuming it's a man that did this, he could have just, like, because you said her head was almost decapitated?
Almost severed, yeah.
Could have just, behind her, taken the knife.
100%.
I mean, then there wouldn't be a struggle.
Yeah.
If she didn't see that coming because he's behind her.
Yeah. Which is what I think happened.
Okay.
I think she was face down. I think she was sunbathing. And I think he bashed her in the head and then cut her
because was there blunt force?
Yeah. Remember, the left side of her skull is shattered.
Oh, okay.
And I think with whatever that blow was, must have also almost severed her head.
I feel like we need to explain what just happened.
I did. I was explaining while it was happening.
Well,
we'll explain it again.
Let's do it again because of that sound. Like, you don't want to have to be able to cut that out. So Kevin was giving us this very riveting story when all of a sudden all the smoke alarms in my home just started going off.
It was so loud.
That was insane. Matt was heating up a pizza.
Okay.
The cheese burned and spilled over. So
I hate when that happens.
All hell broke loose.
Everything was crazy. We were opening windows.
That was so loud.
It was really loud. Has that happened before?
I mean, yes, but it's rare.
Yeah.
I don't remember all of the alarms going off. Like, usually it's just the one in the kitchen if it's, something has burned. But no, this was
full house.
Full on.
Full. Everything's just making noise.
Okay. Let's get back
into it. So yeah, Kate and I were just discussing the struggle, and we think that she probably didn't see it coming, honestly.
Yeah.
In my opinion, anyway.
Yeah.
So for the people of Provincetown, the discovery was more than unsettling. Just 5 years earlier, nearby Truro had been rocked by the brutal killings carried out by serial killer Tony Costa.
Oh, Tony Costa.
Tony Costa.
Is he the one who goes by Chop Chop?
I think so. Yeah. I'm going to talk a little bit about him because he was fascinating. And now there was another shocking murder in the quiet Cape Cod communities. Just in case you don't know, Cape Cod is technically a peninsula shaped like a hook. The Cape Cod communities are the towns along this peninsula, including P-Town.
All right. I did listen to a podcast about Tony Costa and about P-Town.
It's crazy. Yeah. I'm not going to cover that whole thing, but so this Tony Costa scared a shit ton of people. Tony was also known as the Cape Cod vampire or the Cape Cod cannibal, and he was a serial killer active in the late 1960s around Truro, Massachusetts. In 1968 and 69, multiple women disappeared after spending time with Costa. The investigation really picked up when two women, Patricia Walsh and Marianne Wasaki, went missing. Their abandoned van led police to a wooded clearing where Costa grew marijuana. There, officers uncovered something horrific, dismembered remains of a different girl, Susan Perry, who had been missing since the previous fall. Then they find parts of Waisaki's and then Walsh's bodies. And beneath them, police also uncovered the dismembered body of Sydney Monson. That's too many people's remains.
It's awful.
The women had been shot, mutilated, and in some cases dismembered, with evidence suggesting necrophilia. Costa's fingerprints tied him to the scene, and investigators noted that he had known all of the victims. This case was a media circus.
Yeah.
Media latched on hardcore, and Tony Costa gets convicted and sent to prison. On May 12, 1974, Costa was found hanged in his prison cell. Officially ruled a suicide, though some question whether he might have been killed. By then, he had become one of Cape Cod's most infamous figures. That whole case is bananas. There's documentaries and, as Kate mentioned, podcast episodes. Go listen and watch. But the thing is, I'm telling you this to say that Provincetown at the time was just coming off of this. Yeah. So then another body shows up. He's already dead in prison. And so they're
now
like,
is this another serial killer?
Yeah, they're like, oh, great. Another one. Perfect. But this new case of a murdered unidentified young woman sparked the local nickname Lady of the Dunes, based on where she was found.
It does sound better than Lady of the Scrub.
I agree. Yeah. Ew, Lady of the Scrub. That's my drag name.
Are you the lady or the scrub?
You'll have to see the act. It's just me looking around and holding a fake tree.
And you just Homer Simpson into the back.
Yeah. It's this new performance art piece that Kate and I are workshopping.
Mm-hmm. Come see us.
So the name stuck. She's known as the Lady of the Dunes, and she's buried in October 1974 at St. Peter's Cemetery in Provincetown under a simple marker that read only unidentified female body. Found Race Point Dunes, July 26, 1974.
That's so sad.
It is awful. Her grave became a quiet reminder of the unanswered questions surrounding her death. Over the decades, investigators and armchair sleuths alike chased down countless theories about the Lady of the Dunes, trying to explain who she was and what happened to her. Some of these theories gained serious traction, while others were eventually ruled out. But together they showed just how desperate people were to solve the mystery.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get into the first theories around the case.
Okay.
One of the earliest theories pointed to potential victim Rory Jean Kessinger, a 25-year-old woman with a troubled past. Kessinger was an alleged gun runner and drug smuggler who had been arrested on assault charges after shooting at a police officer during a raid.
Oh, yeah, you don't want to shoot at the cops.
In May 1974, just a couple of months before the Lady of the Dunes was discovered, Kessinger managed to escape from Plymouth County Jail and vanished without a trace.
Whoa.
Investigators thought the timing was too close to ignore and that the unidentified woman in Provincetown could be this woman.
Sure.
The resemblance was strong enough to generate headlines, but when the Lady of the Dunes body was exhumed again in 2000 for DNA testing, results confirmed she was not Kessinger. The case also attracted the attention of convicted murderer Haddon Clark, who actually claimed responsibility years later. Clark, who suffered from paranoid schizophrenia and often confessed to crimes he hadn't committed, drew pictures of a handless naked woman and a map pointing to where Ruth's body was found. He even wrote to a friend saying he had killed a woman on Cape Cod. But authorities determined that his confession was not reliable, another example of a false lead that muddied the waters of the investigation. He didn't have the exact details. Things did not add up.
It's all a sham. I was going to say, because that feels like something he could have just, whatever had been put into the media.
Oh, 100%. And this was popular.
Of course.
Popular for decades.
Yeah.
The Lady of the Dunes was also at one point linked to infamous Boston gangster James Whitey Bulger.
Oh.
Bulger was known for brutalizing and killing people, sometimes removing their teeth to prevent identification. The fact that the woman's hands and some teeth were missing made investigators consider the possibility that she had been one of his victims. While it was never ruled out entirely at the time, no evidence was ever uncovered to connect Bulger to Provincetown in 1974.
Okay.
And the theory eventually faded into the background. One of the strangest twists in the Lady of the Dunes case came from an unexpected place. Jaws. Lady of the Dunes. So, nearly 40 years after the body was discovered, author Joe Hill, who's the son of Stephen King, was watching the movie when something caught his eye. At exactly 54 minutes and 2 seconds into the movie, during a scene showing crowds gathered for the 4th of July on the beach, Hill noticed a young woman in the background. She had brunette hair, wore jeans, and a blue bandana, details that were similar to the description of the unidentified Lady of the Dunes. I looked at the scene. I looked at the images. Mm-hmm. I have to say, I'm not sure you can fully discern brunette from auburn hair in that image.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like how things can look different with whatever lighting there is.
Of course. Brunette
and auburn are similar.
Very similar.
So it does look brunette in the photo. I could see how it might not be.
Yeah.
Hill floated the theory in a blog post in 2015 asking, what if the young murder victim no one has ever been able to identify has been seen by hundreds of millions of people in a beloved summer classic and they didn't even know they were looking at her?
That is a great hook. Just gonna say.
100%.
He did learn some things from his dad. And that is a great
yeah,
hook.
He did. What if the ghost of the Lady of the Dunes haunts Jaws? I love it. The theory quickly gained traction online. It made sense on the surface. Jaws had been filmed on Martha's Vineyard, about 100 miles from Provincetown, during the summer of 1974. Locals had flocked to the set to catch a glimpse of the stars or even sneak into some of the background shots. And Hill suggested that the Lady of the Dunes could have been one of them. He speculated that the crowd scene was likely filmed in June, before the mechanical shark was ready for the open water sequences later in the summer. Since investigators believed the unidentified woman was still alive in June, Hill thought it wasn't impossible that she had made her way to Martha's Vineyard and ended up in the movie. Not everyone agreed, though. Police and investigators called the idea far-fetched and pointed out that the resemblance was circumstantial at best.
Fair.
That's fair, too. Retired Provincetown Police Chief Warren Tobias said that many women in the 1970s wore jeans and blue bandanas. And in fact, 6 other women in Jaws can be seen with similar headscarves.
Yeah.
Hill himself admitted the theory wasn't perfect. The woman in the movie wasn't wearing Wranglers like the jeans found on the body, and her hair color looked a bit different.
Wasn't she wearing Wranglers? It just wasn't the same type of Wranglers.
Yeah.
And then the body had a pair of Wranglers folded underneath her, right?
Yes, exactly.
But they weren't
the same.
Yeah.
Correct. Thank you. Still, he pointed out the way she carried herself, her posture and shoulders, and said he couldn't dismiss the similarities entirely.
So this guy, son of a horror icon, watches a movie and in the background of the movie sees a woman and goes, that woman carries herself just like this dead body did.
Yeah. I mean, I think he's just going on the description of what the body would have looked like before it was decomposed, because it said she was an athletic build.
Because like, how can you know, like, based on her shoulders, like, oh, that's got to be her?
It has. You can't.
No.
You can't. I admit that. Web sleuths and Redditors really got into this.
Sure.
And you can scroll through a ton of stuff on it. I'm not going to go into every little detail just because there's no point. One thing they did was to try and get in touch with Jaws location casting director Sherry Rhodes. But Sherry passed away in 2009, and she would have been the one to talk to confirm this theory.
Yeah.
But maybe not, because people were sneaking in the background who lived in the town.
So who knows?
So that was hard to keep track of anybody. I am not giving this full merit. I know when we talked about it, you were like, that's been debunked. Yes and no, because you can't really debunk it, but it's not provable in any sense of the word.
Right. I mean, so this is a pretty famous case. So if you're listening, like you've
probably heard of
before.
This, yeah.
To Joe Hill's credit, he does keep the idea of the woman alive.
Oh, I'm going to talk more about him near the end, because I'm going to tell you who this lady is.
Yeah. Because she has been identified.
Yeah.
But I will also say he has said, yeah, I mean, it's probably not her.
No, I know, but you can't definitively. I understand.
Yeah,
I'm not stupid.
Right, no.
We're not stupid, but like, you can't not say it's not 100% not true.
And let's be honest, it's fun to think that it is.
100%.
You know? I mean, that was a good hook.
That is a good hook, and it's caught on, it's stuck with it, and it brought in the least.
Yeah.
It brought attention to this case, and the case got solved. You know what I mean?
So let's hear it.
So let's talk more about it. So for nearly 50 years, the Lady of the Dunes remained one of Massachusetts's. That's a lot of S's.
That's not how you say it.
Massachusetts. The Lady of the Dunes remained one of Massachusetts' most haunting mysteries. I added 3 S's.
It's
I'm
okay.
sorry.
It's more fun that way.
Investigators had tried everything to identify her, but nothing worked. So that changed with the rise of investigative genealogy, a new tool combining DNA analysis with traditional genealogical research and historical records. In 2021, her skeletal remains were sent to Othram, which is a forensic lab specializing in this type of work. From her bones, they were able to build a DNA profile. Using that profile, genealogists began searching for distant relatives, piecing together connections in family trees.
I mean, isn't that the fucking coolest thing?
I want to do that.
That's awesome.
I loved when I was on it. I paid for Ancestry.
Yeah, same.
And I built my trees.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that shit.
I did the same thing. And then because I got to a point where I couldn't trace back anymore.
Yeah.
So I hired some investigator to do it for me. And I paid them, I think it was like $150 to try and go back further in the line. They didn't find anything. And I was like, can I have my money back? And they said no. But I was fascinated learning all that stuff.
Yeah. So using that profile, genealogists began searching for distant relatives. It was painstaking work, but it led them to relatives in Tennessee and eventually to a man in Michigan named Richard Hanchett, who had been searching for his biological mother for years. Richard Hanchett grew up in Michigan, raised by the Hanchetts in the Detroit suburb of Waterford. He always described his adoptive parents with love, saying he had such a happy life with them. But, like many adopted children, he carried questions about his biological mother in the back of his mind. He knew only that her name at the time had been Ruth Smith, that she had given birth to him out of wedlock, and that she had worked alongside his adoptive mother at an automotive plant.
Oh, wow.
For decades, that was the extent of everything he knew. As he got older and his adoptive parents passed away, Richard felt a stronger pull to learn more about his origins. So in 2017, his fiancée gave him a DNA kit from Ancestry.com as a Christmas gift. When he took the test, the results in 2018 connected him to a large extended family in Tennessee. Meeting them for the first time was eye-opening. They welcomed him warmly. But when he asked about his biological mother, he learned she had disappeared in the 1970s. Some relatives even speculated she might have entered witness protection program.
Oh.
And that was where Richard's search seemed to stall. No one knew what happened to her. Then, in late October 2022, October 31st, just to be specific, Halloween 2022, everything changed. FBI agents contacted Richard to tell him they had identified his biological mother, but not in the way he had ever expected. They explained that his DNA had helped solve one of Massachusetts' most infamous cold cases, the Lady of the Dunes. The unidentified woman whose mutilated body was found in Provincetown was his mother, Ruth Marie Terry. At first, Richard misunderstood and thought they were saying that she was alive.
Oh.
And then when he realized the truth, he was stunned. He had never even heard of the Lady of the Dunes case before that moment.
Yeah.
So let's talk about Ruth.
Okay.
Ruth Marie Terry grew up in tough circumstances, which informed a lot of her choices later in life. She was born in Whitwell, Tennessee on September 8th, 1936, the daughter of Johnny Red Terry and Eva Keener. Red because he had like flaming red hair.
Ah, okay.
Their family are known for red hair, blue eyes.
Gotcha.
Whitwell was a small coal mining town outside Chattanooga, and Ruth's father worked in the mines. Her mother, Eva, died of epilepsy when Ruth was just 1 year old.
Ooh.
After Eva's death, Ruth was mostly raised by her grandparents, while her father continued working to support the family. Her brother, Jim, who would later become her protector, often looked out for her. She had two older siblings.
Okay.
James and Lois. Lois was the oldest daughter, and then she had an older brother. But then her father does go on to remarry, and then she has three like step siblings with that new. So it sort of becomes a large.
It's like the Brady Bunch.
It is. In Whitwell, Tennessee. Ruth's family remembered her as a beautiful, caring, free-spirited young woman. Her brother Ken said she was looking for something more than just country life, while her sister-in-law Jan described how much she loved her family and how much they loved her in return. Her personal life was complicated from the start. So this is an interesting fact that I haven't been able to nail down exactly. There's sources will either say one or the other.
Okay.
And one is that she married this guy named Billy Ray Smith when she was 13.
Oh, damn.
Some articles say when she was 20.
Okay.
It's either 13 or 20.
Bit of a difference. All right.
I'm erring toward the younger because she leaves while she's still pretty young to move to Michigan.
Oh, all right.
Like, I don't know. I can't pinpoint it, but she's a young girl when she marries this guy.
Okay.
Billy Ray Smith. Billy Ray would go on to serve in Korea, and the marriage didn't last super long. So by her late teens, she was determined to build a life for herself. By her late teens or early 20s.
Sure.
And she wanted to get out of the small mining town. So around 1957, Ruth moved north to Michigan and found work at the Fisher Body Automotive Plant in Livonia. Which made interior parts for General Motors.
Okay.
It was during this time that she became pregnant, and she gave birth to a son, Richard, in 1958. The identity of his biological father was never known.
Oh, all right.
At the time, Ruth's friends Thelma and Richard Hanchett Sr., who also worked at the Fisher Body, were trying to adopt a child. Thelma looked like Ruth with red hair and blue eyes, and their birthdays were just 3 days apart.
Okay.
Ruth and the couple made an agreement. She would allow them to raise the baby, and in return, they would cover her expenses and give him the stability she could not provide.
Oh.
According to Richard Hanchett, the Hanchetts rented Ruth Marie Terry a house right across the street from the Fisher Body plant for the final 2.5 months of her pregnancy.
That's pretty nice.
That's pretty generous. And it gave them a chance to really get to know her and form a bond. When it came time for the baby to be born, Thelma Hatchett handed Ruth her driver's license so she would have identification for admission to the maternity ward, and the three of them went together to the hospital.
I don't understand.
She gave her the license so there wouldn't have to be like an adoption.
Oh, she gave
like
her her license.
Yeah. So the person that was giving birth to the baby was Thelma Hatchett.
Quote unquote.
Quote unquote.
Okay.
But they look similar enough.
Mm-hmm.
That worked. And her son grew up with the Hatchetts in Michigan. Ruth eventually left Michigan and moved out to California.
Do we know why?
No.
Okay.
She left her baby behind, though. She gave him to the Hanchetts. And from what it seems to me, Kate, as I was reading about her, it seems like anytime something would go wrong, or she would always want to start a new chapter, and she would just up and move. She up and left Tennessee after her marriage to Billy failed. She up and left Michigan after she was
trying to find new starts. I guess.
That's exactly what it is.
Okay.
New starts.
Starting fresh.
Her son would later describe the decision as unselfish, though for years he was angry at her.
Well, yeah.
He eventually came to understand she had made a painful choice to give him a better chance. Ruth never forgot him. In 1972, when he was a teenager, she reached out in hopes of reconnecting.
Oh.
But the timing was tragic. Richard had just survived a drug overdose that left him in a coma for 18 days.
Oh, God.
And he was not ready to meet her when she reached out.
Ooh.
It was the one opportunity they had, and it passed them by. For Richard, it became a lifelong regret that he never had the chance to know his mother. Back home in Tennessee, Ruth's family continued to think of her often. After her disappearance years later, her brother Jim even hired a private investigator and went to California searching for her, but never found answers.
That's weird that a private investigator couldn't find her, even and knowing that she's in California.
Right.
I feel like maybe that's just not a good investigator.
I think so. Well, even you talked about a bad investigator with the person who couldn't find your family.
Oh, yeah, I did just 5 minutes ago.
Yeah. You're like, what are you fucking talking about?
I was like, huh?
So the mid-1970s for Richard brought more tragedy to the family. His older adoptive sister, Pat, was murdered by her husband in 1980.
God.
Which is insane.
Yeah.
By the early 1970s, Ruth's life changed dramatically when she met Guy Rockwell Moldavin.
Okay.
On February 16th, 1974, she married him in Reno, Nevada. And to those around them, it seemed like a new chapter. Moldavin was charming and worldly on the surface, an antique dealer with a magnetic personality.
That's just a sentence you don't hear often. An antique dealer with a magnetic personality.
I've never heard that in a sentence. But family noticed right away that something was off.
Uh-oh.
Ruth's grandniece later said she just wasn't herself. And when she was around him. His possessive behavior made her loved ones uneasy. Still, Ruth and Guy presented themselves as a couple with big plans. They told family they intended to travel the country searching for antiques, making it sound romantic and adventurous, the kind of restless life Ruth had always been drawn to. That summer, not long after their wedding, they visited Ruth's family in Tennessee. Ken Terry remembered seeing his sister one last time, happy and newly married, about to head across the country. They also stopped in Chattanooga to see her half-brother Kenneth and his wife Carol, telling them their travels would include a stop in Massachusetts. It was the final time Ruth's family saw her. In 2022, authorities immediately returned their attention to Ruth's history and her antique dealer husband, Guy Rockwell Moldavan. The two had married just months before her death. Guy wasn't the best person, it seems, so let's talk about it.
Yeah.
Guy Rockwell Moldavan lived a life that looked glamorous and cultured from the outside, but beneath that surface was a disturbing history of crime and suspicion that tied him to multiple unsolved cases.
It's not great.
Nope, even before he met Ruth Marie Terry.
Oof.
His origins are murky.
Yikes.
His biological parents remain unknown, but he was adopted as a child by Abram Albert Zadworanski Moldavan, a Polish immigrant, and Sylvia Lily Silverblatt, who was born in Brooklyn to Russian parents.
Okay.
The couple later divorced. As a boy, Guy traveled widely with his family, appearing on passenger lists bound for places like Havana, Hamburg, and Genoa during the late 1920s and early 1930s. World traveler.
Apparently.
By 1942, he was living in Manhattan and attending the American Academy of Dramatic Arts.
Why did I know that you were going to say that? I don't know why. I was like, if this boy says American Academy of Dramatic Arts.
We just talked about
the
AADA.
Was it the Richard D. May case?
I can't remember.
It's come up a couple times.
It's come up a couple times because when we were doing the My Man
Godfrey
crossover, I believe
William
Powell went to AADA.
I think you might be
right. I think that's where I'm getting that. Oh God! After I tell a story, it's like I just push it all out of my head. It's immediately out of my
brain. Isn't that so weird?
I just don't think it. I couldn't even remember the guy's name. William Powell.
When people listen to our episodes like well after we've already put them out, and they'll comment, I often have to go back and listen because I'm like, what are they talking about? Because I want to respond to them.
Sure.
But I have no idea what they're talking about. And I'm like, wait, what?
Clue. What are you talking about? I remember
I said what?
When we had that interview before our live show and guy brought up a case and I was like, what?
Oh, I think it was the Macbeth one.
Yeah.
And he was like, ask you specific things.
He's like, tell me about everything that you thought about that. And I was like... It's crazy.
Well, like he asked me about Karen Kupcinet, which we had done a year prior, and I have not thought about that case since then. And he starts asking details about this and that, and I was like,
"Yep." Mm-hmm.
Wait, and I'm like racking my brain. I was like, "Okay, wait, what happened to that case?" Yeah, wild,
crazy. Yeah, don't ask us any questions. No.
It's so
we don't know.
It immediately leaves my brain.
It's gone. Anywho, Guy is an ass, and he's weird, and he goes to the American AADA. I lost my place. I'm sorry. I was trying to cover it.
It's okay.
Though disqualified from military service in World War II due to a mastoid infection.
Oh, what even is a mastoid?
I actually don't know. I wrote it down thinking I did.
Mastoid.
Oh,
what is it?
It's part of the temporal bone in your skull.
Oh.
Mastoiditis is an infection of part of your temporal bone.
So basically his brain was fucked up and the military said, we don't want you.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that could explain some things.
But he manages to carve a career moving between acting, teaching, radio work, and antiques.
Okay.
But trouble seemed to follow Guy. In June 1950, in California, in Humboldt County Beach, 28-year-old Henry Red Baird was found dead.
Oh.
Shot in the back of the head and left nearly naked, with his folded clothing arranged neatly alongside him.
We've heard about that.
And he was with, at the time, his 17-year-old girlfriend, Barbara Jo Kelly. Not Guy, the guy who was shot in the head. Barbara was never seen again after that night.
That's creepy.
And she still remains missing to this day. I went online to the Humboldt County Sheriff and looked, and it's still listed as a cold case.
Oh, wow. Oh, that's scary.
Isn't that weird? No charges were ever filed. Investigators did question Moldovan because he lived in the near vicinity of those murders. Years later, a weird guy came forward claiming responsibility, but he got dismissed.
Okay.
And the case is still unsolved. On May 11th, 1946, Moldovan married his first wife, Joellen May Loop.
Okay.
While working as a professor. They lived in New York, California, and later Seattle, where he worked as a DJ.
All right.
The marriage ended in divorce 10 years later in 1956. 2 years later after that, using an alias, Raoul Guy Rockwell.
Oh, my.
He married Manzanita Manzi Mearns. Manzi was her,
gotcha.
cutesy name.
Yeah.
Manzanita.
Her cutesy name.
Manzanita had a teenage daughter, Dolores Ann Mearns, from a previous marriage. Both women would vanish on April 1st, 1960, in what would become the darkest chapters in Moldovan's history.
Ugh.
After Manzanita Mearns and her daughter Dolores vanished, Guy wasted no time moving on. Just a few months later, on July 21st, 1960, he obtained a divorce from Manzanita by claiming desertion, even though suspicions of foul play were already swirling.
Yeah.
Only a week after securing that divorce, he married his third wife.
What the fuck?
Evelyn Marie Emerson.
How is he getting so many women to marry him?
He's a handsome guy.
Is he?
He's
Ew.
thick.
I hate it.
He's thick with curly hair.
Yuck. Hate it. It's wasted on all the bad
It's wasted on
ones.
the bad bitches. Not in a good way. Well, because bad bitches means good.
Sure. And he ain't one of those.
No. So Evelyn Marie Emerson is the stepdaughter of socially prominent Caroline Winkler of Seattle.
Okay.
A rich girl.
A rich
A
girl.
rich girl. No, 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 no.
I'd like for any description of me to read
Dizzy rich girl.
a rich girl. I strive
I want
for my tagline to be a rich girl.
A rich girl.
Kate McCoy. A rich girl.
A rich girl. So almost immediately, Moldovan borrowed $10,000 from Evelyn's family.
Well, that's a warning sign right there.
Supposedly to buy antiques in Canada for resale. But instead, he skipped town with another woman.
This guy.
This quick remarriage and financial scheme added to the growing list of deceptions and scandals that were tied to his name. So after Manzanita and Dolores disappeared, police found human flesh, bones, and body parts in the septic tank of the family home.
Oh, God.
Some of them burned. Portions of a body believed to be Manzanita's were also pulled from the Columbia River.
Oh, jeez.
Despite these discoveries, prosecutors never brought murder charges, citing the inability to conclusively identify the remains.
Damn.
By then, Moldovan had already fled Seattle.
Ugh.
In December 1960, the FBI arrested him in New York City, where he was living in Greenwich Village under yet another alias.
Well, what's he calling himself now?
Michael Strong.
That's a good name.
I like that name, actually. Fucker. So yeah, he's a hulking dude at 6'2" and nearly 250 pounds, but he was described in the press as a hipster bunko artist and great lover.
Wait, the press described him as a great lover?
Yeah.
Who the fuck are these reporters?
Kate, this is the beginning of the 60s.
My God. Wow. A great lover because he had so many wives?
Well, yeah, I'll get to that in just a second. He lived in a cluttered apartment surrounded by beatniks, art lovers, and admirers. At the time of his arrest, newspapers reported he had 3 wives and many sweethearts.
Ew.
These were misogynistic times. He was extradited to Washington, not on murder charges, but for unlawful flight to avoid testifying in the trial of Manzanita.
But he wasn't. Was he arrested for that? I didn't think he was.
No, he wasn't. But he was supposed to stay so that he could testify. Testify meaning give a statement about everything. Like, they found out that...
Oh, because you said trial.
Oh, no. Sorry.
Okay, got it.
They told him not to leave after the murders.
Oh, that makes sense. Got it.
And then he did.
Yeah,
Well,
obviously.
they didn't even know it was murder because They were missing.
Right.
Until they found those remains later. But they couldn't prove who they were.
Got it.
Sorry if that was confusing. He was supposed to stay, and because he took that flight, unlawful flight, that's what they extradited him back to Washington for.
Sure.
So he wasn't prosecuted for, anything to do with that. Instead, he gets prosecuted for swindling $10,000 from his third wife's wealthy family.
Well, at least they get him on something.
Convicted of larceny, and he gets sentenced to 15 years.
Bye.
Well, Kate, how often do people we hate have to serve any time in prison?
Not enough.
The sentence was suspended in 1962 on the condition that he just repay the money.
And was he able to come up with that amount?
Yeah.
Damn it.
He left. So the decision not to prosecute him for murder left investigators deeply frustrated. They knew.
Yeah.
They knew. They just couldn't pin it on him.
Ugh.
True crime writer Anne Rule later devoted a section of her book Smoke, Mirrors, and Murder to this case, noting how close authorities felt they were to proving Moldovan's guilt. But with no positive IDs on the remains, the King County prosecutor declined to pursue charges, and for many it felt like he had slipped away once again.
Well, because he had.
Wherever he went, whether Los Angeles, San Francisco, or New York, he left a trail of suspicions. By the mid-1970s, he had moved to California's Monterey Peninsula. Settling in, California, right, Kate?
Well, it depends on what you're about to ask me.
Settling in Chualar?
Chualar?
Chualar? Chualar? Near Salinas?
Okay.
I'm butchering that term. I apologize. He once again reinvented himself. New place, new person, kind of looping in with our girl Ruth. Same kind of MO.
Yeah.
He takes a radio host gig at Kazoo, Kazu, in Pacific Grove. He had a weekly call-in show that covered topics like aging, sexuality, and social issues.
Wow. Imagine being one of the callers who got advice from this guy.
Yeah. Locals who tuned in or met him in town saw only a quirky antiques dealer and intellectual. And friends of his said that he was a womanizer.
Well, yeah.
Hitting on women in his antique shops.
Ew. Of all places, too.
Yeah.
Leave the antiques alone.
They've seen enough.
They've been around for a long time.
Forever. Few knew about his darker past. They didn't know about the wives and stepdaughter who had vanished, or the long shadow of suspicion that followed him across the country. I read later in life that he worked in exporting and then for some sugar products company.
Okay.
I guess. It was in California that Ruth and Guy met, and fate was sealed. I don't know exactly how they met.
All right.
But they met. And years later, after Ruth Marie Terry's death, Guy Moldovan published a bizarre cookbook titled Cooking with Rump Oil that raised disturbing questions. One recipe was called Cape Cod Shid. It included an unsettling sketch of a long-haired figure resembling Ruth and was paired with the chilling commentary. Quote, out of the water and into the pan, the sweet turpentine taste will turn to that of a burnt glove, and the tender look will become one of despair.
I'm unwell.
I can show you this picture. I downloaded it.
The picture that's in the cookbook?
Yeah. It's weird.
Something about that is so
Isn't
disturbing.
it disturbing? I really
Turn it
don't.
around.
I'm sorry. Really get
I don't
shit
want to
away
look
from
at it
me.
anymore.
Yeah. As reported in an article that I read from NBC 10 Boston.
Oh, God.
Just shout. That's where I found the picture.
I like that was the rest of the sentence, but there was a huge other conversation in the middle, so that you just continued the sentence.
Continued the sentence. So in the years following, he married again, this time to a fifth wife. We'll get back to Ruth.
Sure.
But he goes on to marry a fifth wife, Phyllis Smurl, but that marriage falls apart.
The Smurls, isn't that like a case with Ed and Lorraine Warren, the Smurls?
I don't know. Let me look it up.
Maybe I'm...
Smurls. Oh, SMURL.
Oh, okay.
The Smurl of West Pitson. I've never heard of this.
Mind.
So Guy Rockwell Moldovan, whichever you want to say, died in Salinas on March 14th, 2002, of what his obituary described as a lengthy illness.
Hope it was a real lengthy one.
Lengthy.
Decades.
Through their investigation, Massachusetts State Police learned that Ruth and Moldovan had traveled together that summer, even stopping in Tennessee, as we talked about earlier, to visit her family.
Mm-hmm.
When Moldovan returned from the trip, he was driving what was believed to be Ruth's car. And he told people that she had died. That's what he told his friends. And then to her family, you know what he says to her family?
What?
He gives a different story, saying that they had an argument on their honeymoon and she ran off and he hasn't heard from her since.
So that right there, he's guilty. He murdered her.
Yeah, 100%.
Just the varying stories alone.
Well, here's the thing, and that's what they got him on.
Yeah.
Like, they pulled all of this shit together, like the missing body parts of, Manzanita and her daughter, and then all of this weird shit that he's telling, and they're like, this is enough to tie this guy to this murder.
Yeah.
So on August 28th, 2023, Cape and Islands District Attorney Robert J. Galaboy officially named Moldovan as responsible for Ruth Marie Terry's death. By then, Moldovan himself had been dead for 2 decades, but the mystery of the Lady of the Dunes had at last been solved. Even after Ruth Marie Terry was identified, Joe Hill resurfaced the theory online about the Jaws theory. Posting side-by-side comparisons of Terry and the Jaws extra on Twitter. He acknowledged the differences, writing, "Her hair color is different. The rest, well, see for yourself. They might not be the same person, but I also think one has to admit they might be." He later added, "My opinion, maybe. Probably not, but maybe." He later, that's what I said. Although no evidence has ever proven that Ruth appeared in the movie, the speculation added another layer of intrigue to an already haunting case. As Hill himself put it, quote, 2 astonishing things happened on Cape Cod in the summer of 1974. One is that Steven Spielberg filmed Jaws, and the other is that someone murdered this woman in the dunes outside Provincetown and got away with it.
Yeah, that's what pisses me off, is that he never
lived a full
time.
life. Yeah. The Jaws theory is never confirmed, but it gave the Lady of the Dunes a strange and lasting place in pop culture. The identification of Ruth was bittersweet for both her remaining family and her son, Richard Hanchett.
Sure.
Richard had finally gotten the answers he'd been searching for all of his life, but those answers revealed that his mother had been brutally murdered. He said he was upset by the news. In interviews, Richard spoke about the weight of it all. It's as one of those things you really don't ever want to have to accept or believe, and I've seen a lot of violence in my life. It doesn't make it any easier each time. Around the time of his mother's identification, Richard shared another eerie detail. In the weeks leading up to the FBI's call, he had been plagued by recurring dreams of a hairy man hitting a woman in the back of the head.
Oh.
In the dream, the woman's skull was crushed, a detail that matched his mother's cause of death. When he described the dream to the investigators, it startled them with its accuracy. To Richard, the meaning became clear once he learned the truth about Ruth's fate. Since then, Richard has worked to process the revelations and to preserve his mother's memory. He has been involved in projects about her story, including the Oxygen series Lady of the Dunes, Hunting the Cape Cod Killer. He has also written a book, Through His Eyes, The Lady of the Dunes, Ruth Marie Terry's story. Despite the pain of what he learned, Richard has said there is some peace in finally knowing who his mother was and what became of her. As he put it, quote, "It's the fact that we found her and she's not missing anymore. I just wish I could have met her once."
Oh.
And that's the story of the Lady of the Dunes. I wanted to say and Jaws, but that sounds weird. The weird connection made by Stephen King's son to the Jaws movie, which is crazy, but who the hell knows?
I'm glad that they did identify her, though. That's good.
I am too. It's nice. I'm glad that they found out who she was.
Yeah. Well, let us know your thoughts. Do you think that that's her in the movie? Or do you think Joe Hill just had a really good hook? You can let us know on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, or Spotify at
Horrorwood Podcast.
Or you can send us an email at
horrorwoodpodcast@gmail.com.
Or you can be like Violet, Emily, David, Stephanie, Bobby, and Stinky Boots and pop on over to Patreon at
patreon.com/horrorwoodpodcast.
Don't do murder. Don't go in the water.
Watch out for sharks.
Always.
Watch out for people who can't drive very well.
For sure. Bye.
Bye.